Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today, we have two videos to cover. The first being a follow-up to a man who didn't like his dental work, so he decided on his own that he wasn't going to pay anymore. After that, we have a ridiculous Karen who doesn't like her neighbor so much that she decided to take matters into her own hands, which ultimately ended up backfiring on her. We're going to start with the dental follow-up. So let's begin.
This is New You Dental versus Donnie Beard. So are you with New You Dental? Wait, why don't you get an unmute for me there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Hi, yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're with New You Dental?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Set today's date for hearing. My last note says we did. We entered a default, but Donnie was there and he just couldn't get his audio connected. So in all fairness, he'll come back on. Have the two of you talked at all recently?
No, we didn't.
No? Would it help if I give you a minute, or do we just want to proceed with a hearing?
From my point of view, there is no way that we can have any talk with the defendant.
Okay. Well, both of you raise your right hands for me. Can you raise your right hand? Donnie, why don't you, Mr. Beard, there you go. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give will be the truth? Both of you?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Beard?
Yes.
Okay. You can put your hands
Yes,
down.
Your Honor.
Okay. And we're with New You Dental. Let me get something right now. I think we went through this before. Can you give me your name again?
My name is Diego Menzi.
And boy, I'm sorry, spell the last name for me.
Yes, M-E-N as Nancy, S-I.
S-I, Nancy. That's right. Yep. That was the same name we had before. And you're familiar with the books and records as they pertain to this matter? Is that true?
Yes, I am.
Are you a full-time employee with New You Dental?
Yes.
Okay. I am showing an amount claimed, the last time we went through, it's $4,679 in damages. Is that still accurate?
4,679.
Okay. And then I, of course, had the court costs we went through, $143.85. That was court costs. What with regard to services, help me out again. What services were provided for this money?
It was the personal service. So we served the defendant with an
No,
officer.
I'm sorry. I said, sir, I meant dental services.
Oh yes, yeah. Yes.
So what did he have done? What did that New You Dental do for him?
Okay, so let's go back in the past. I was trying to, get the paper again.
Sure.
So in 2020, they extracted some bones, some tooth. It was 1, 2, 3, 4 teeth I can see here, and then it was provided, the partial denture, and then they were supposed to pay, but never happened.
Okay. And how much at that point is there an amount owed at that point, just so I can keep it straight?
Yeah. So the amount that was due was 4,679.
Oh, it was right at that point. So you never received any payments at that point?
No, never.
Okay. And which you said 4 teeth extracted. Which teeth? Just so we keep clear on which ones they were.
Okay. We call it with numbers. So it's tooth number 23, number 3, number 4, and number 10.
Okay. 23, 3, 4, and 10. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And did he receive the partial denture?
Yes, it was delivered. It was delivered on November, the same year, 2020.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Beard, is that information true? Did you?
No, it's not.
Well, if it's not true, then why don't you open your mouth and show us those bright yellow chompers and prove him wrong? Unfortunately, he can't do that because the dentist did actually remove his teeth.
No, did you not have these teeth
mean,
extracted?
Pardon me?
Did you have these 4 teeth extracted?
Yes.
Okay. Did you receive a partial
Yeah,
denture? Did you?
They're right here.
Okay, so you got the denture, and this is 2020.
Yeah,
What? They're telling me that you did
I
not
got
pay for those.
All the dates you paid, Tommy.
12/4/2020. I made a payment of $200. And 1/1/2021, I made another payment of $179. 1/30/2021, I made a payment of $300. 2/15/2021, I made a payment of $250. 3/15/2021, I made another payment of $250. 4/15/2021, I made another payment of $250. 5/11/2021, I made another payment of $150. 6/1/2021,
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Beard.
I made
May,
$100.
yeah, I'm sorry. May 11th. What was the amount on May 11th? What was the amount on May 11th?
May 11th.
$250.
Okay, I'm sorry. And go on from there because I just didn't catch it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Then what after May 11th? What did you pay? Go ahead and keep going if there's more.
6/1/2021, I made a payment of $300. 7/7/2021, I made another payment of $350. And 8/7/2021, I made a payment of $150.
Is that all the payments?
That's when that's when I stopped paying.
Okay, that's when you stopped. Okay. So I see a total of, if I add those all up, it looks like 2,479. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Sterency, he's showing that though there was payments, and it sounds like it's pretty detailed on those payments being made from
I
2021.
don't know. Sorry. Yeah. I don't know from where they got these payments because I have still here open, the ledger of this patient, and there is not even one payment. And besides, what was not mentioned before is that the patient got special care credit. They call it care credit, financing. So it was approved on November the 6th, 2020, and on September 2021, they disputed the charges. So we received the dispute from the care credit financing, and we got debited our accounts for that same amount, 4,679. So that was not mentioned before.
Okay, so now it makes much more sense. The defendant chose to go with a budget dental office, get budget dental work, and when he noticed that he didn't have that Hollywood smile he thought he was going to get for a South Dallas price, he decided he was going to dispute the claims with the credit company that he borrowed the money from, and they charged back their payment to the dental clinic.
And not only the patient, I have a report here from the practice. He went to the practice and he started yelling at everybody, saying that the job was not good, And that was happening exactly one day before he disputed, the amounts to the Care Credit. So it was like something very connected. So the day before they go to the practice, after 9 months that they got the things, and they disputed, and then the next day they disputed to the Care Credit, so they were not charged anymore. Beside, the question was last time, if you remember, your honor, was like why, if the implant was provided around 2020, why we start having the first statement sent out on 2021. And that is very common, first of all, because it takes months to have the plant adjusted, the implant adjusted. And secondly, there was this finance Care Credit in between, and they take their time to process, and they gave extra time to the customers to start paying. That's why we have this apparent delay from the moment that the implant was due and the time that we issued the very first statement. The very first statement was issued after our bank account was charged back from the Care Credit. Very naturally, we found that we didn't get any money from the patient, but we we were charged from the Care Credit. So we found it very natural to start sending the statement to the customer, because at that point the 4,679 was due from the patient.
So, did Care Credit, as far as your record show, did they pay for the entire amount? Is that what happened?
No, what happened is that once the customer is being approved, they start with installment payments. But that never happened, because I have here the paper on September 20 on year 2021. There was a dispute. There was the total charge was disputed by the patient, and so they never started collecting from the patient. See?
Oh, I see. So these amounts that he's talking about, where, gosh, help me out. You're telling me you never received any of these payments?
No.
Okay.
Very honestly, if we had received any payment, we will have something different today to talk about. But
Yeah.
I don't see any payment coming in this.
Help me out with the process. Would he have been paying to I guess it's, what is it, Special Care Credit? Would he have paid right to them? Is that how that works?
Yep.
Oh, I see. So if it had gone right, his payments, all these payments he made were going to Special Care, not you.
Exactly.
Okay. Mr. Beard, is that true? Were you making these payments to Special Care Credit? Is that what it was?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So-
it was.
So the dentist's office was right to bring the claim against the defendant, but the defendant needs to bring his claim against the credit company that he financed his work through.
Okay. So your dispute, really, Mr. Beard, your dispute is with Special Care Credit, not New You. Why didn't you make any payments to, I guess, New You directly if there was a dispute with Special Care?
I'm not sure I understand the question, Your Honor.
Well, did you raise a dispute issue with New You Dental or with Special Care Credit?
I called Special Care Credit, and I told them that I had this work done, and the dentures, they didn't even clean my teeth before they made the dentures. So they made the dentures the same color as my teeth. because that was naturally me. But it wasn't naturally me. It was naturally funk on my teeth.
So did
You
you,
know?
why didn't you complain to New You Dental?
I don't. My teeth are not long enough to hook the dentures to them.
Okay,
And the dentist took no pride in in my mouth. He didn't take no care. Or the dentist didn't clean my teeth before he made my dentures that don't even fit my mouth yet shape. My teeth ain't long enough to hook those dentures to them.
okay, so do you have an expert that's gonna tell me that? Do you have another dentist that's gonna tell me that today?
Well, unfortunately, the doctor,
No,
the doctor,
no, hold on, from you, let me hear from him first. I wanna see if he's got another dentist that's gonna tell me that. Okay, hold on. So, Mr. Beard, do you have an expert that's gonna
I don't.
testify that they weren't made right?
I don't have that. I don't have that right now. I sure don't. But he did tell me that the teeth wouldn't support my dentures.
Unfortunately, without an expert to testify on your behalf, this is what's known as hearsay, and it will almost certainly have no positive impact on the validity of your testimony.
You got to have some expert that's going to tell me that, though, Mr. Beard. And from Mr. Menzies' side, did you ever receive a notice that there was a complaint about the dentures from Mr. Beard?
no, and very honestly, we have a report here from the then doctor that administered all the things, and the name is Moses Shin. It's dated January the 8th, 2021, and I just read what is in the report. Try in adjust bite, patient approved of fit and appearance, ready to process. Then I have another note, and the same doctor on January 29, 2021, deliver upper and lower partial. And the last one, the very last one, is dated February the 4th, 2021. Adjust upper bite, loosen clasps, reduce lower left lingual flange at the distal. So very technical things, but you can see that the very first one that I mentioned on January the 8th, there was a try-in and the patient approved fit and appearance.
Okay, and then the last was a kind of sounds like a kind of a final fitting on February 4th, adjusted the bite.
Right.
Okay. And did Mr. Beard ever show up after that February 4th date, 2021? No.
He disappeared, and we all understood that he was happy with that. Any one of else ever said, you don't come anymore, you don't show yourself anymore. So we were more than ready, to adjust and to fit and to fix it. But he disappeared, and on September 2021, we received the charge back from Care Credit.
Okay. And from your side, you don't know what the charge back was for. It was just that there was some kind of dispute.
Out of the blue,
Okay.
as they said, if I may say, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. I'm ready to make a decision. I'll be right back on. I'll give you a decision in just a minute. Okay.
Okay.
Both of you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Alright, so after hearing both sides of the argument, it's not really looking good for the defendant. But let's hear what the judge has to say with his ruling.
Okay, I've had a chance to review my notes and the pleadings in their totality as well. You find that both plaintiff and defendant appear today. There's been no expert testimony given with regard to the work that was done to the dentures or the extractions. Do you find that this plaintiff is asking for services rendered? Do you find that the services were rendered on the date alleged, which was in 2020, November of 2020? Also, find that there's been no dispute with regard to the amount that was being charged and the amount that was expected to be paid, $4,679. I do find that the defendant, Donnie Beard, was making payments towards this debt, but not directly to New You Dental. It was going through Special Care Credit Services. It was a kind of a third party entity that was, I guess, rendering some kind of help with dental services for Donnie Beard, at least with payments. These payments were detailed in significant amount to Donnie Beard, totaling $2,479. However, there's records showing that the patient did approve of the work that was done, the extractions as in the partial denture work that was provided to him on January 8th, 2021. There were several follow-up appointments, January 29th, 2021 and February 4th, 2021, where the bite was adjusted on the partial dentures. Find based upon the totality of the testimony that the defendant never complained about the work that was done. If there was complaints, it was up through February 4th, 2021, when those appointments were made and services were being provided to adjust the dentures that were provided. There were some allegations that the anchoring mechanisms on the dentures were not proper, but I've got no professional expert testimony provided that shows that the work was not done in a workmanlike manner, medical workmanlike manner today. Also, through testimony from New You Dental, there was some type of dispute that they don't know what it was involved. They were never made aware of it, other than the fact that Donnie Beard had made a complaint to Special Care Credit, and there was a dispute with regard to finances somehow, and they were debited $4,679. New You was debited back off of their account $4,679. They had not received any of those payments. Therefore, they're still outstanding. The services that were provided, I find that those services were provided completely, and find no defects in the services provided based upon the totality of the testimony to date. Therefore, judgment for plaintiff $4,679. Court costs $143.85 for a total of $4,822.85. Judgment for plaintiff. Okay. Good luck to both of you. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Your
You're
Honor.
welcome. Good luck. Bye now.
Bye.
Okay, so that's the end of that hearing. And as someone who has recently had major dental work, let me give you a little bit of advice. Don't go with a budget dentist if you don't have to. And if you do, look outside the country like I did. Now let's head to our next hearing, which is a ridiculous Karen who's tried to get multiple PPOs against her neighbor, which ultimately backfires on her in the end. Now, some of the accusations that this Karen makes against her neighbor are reprehensible, and I'm going to mute out the actual words that she called him, as those words will probably get this video demonetized. Let's just say it sounds awfully close to a PDF file. So let's continue.
Well, all right, so we appear to have three cases where both parties are present. We'll start with Charles Peaty and Laura Bowman. And we'll have both of you And Mr. Finley, Mr. Petey is with you? Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
he's right here, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Petey, pardon me, yeah, Mr. Petey and Ms. Bowman, both raise your right hands for me. Swear that testimony in this case to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Bowman, say something?
Yes, I do. Sorry, my screen.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, there's it.
And Mr. Finley, do you have questions for Mr. Petey as to the basis for his need for protection order?
Uh, I do, Your Honor. I'd ask the court how much detail do we need to go into here?
Well, I mean, what I read in the petition is that Ms. Bowman flips off Mr. Petey, makes false statements about him. And if you want to add something to that, go ahead with your questions to Mr. Petey.
All right, thank you. Mr. Petey, tell us about the incident with your car and Ms. Bowman.
My car had been keyed and Miss Bowman came to my house and apologized for it and paid me for my deductible and admitted the guilt. She said that she didn't key my car. She said she actually used a claw hammer and came to my house and admitted to it.
All right, and then after that happened, was there an incident with her at a park?
Yes, so then I went to a park to have dinner with my cousin and she walked around the park twice. On her second trip, she had started yelling at me and my company. One of the fathers from my school was right behind her and saw the whole thing. And she just trying to cause a disturbance with me and the three kids and my cousin. And we pretty much just ignored her and went about our way. And it's just nonstop harassment. She just won't let up.
How many times has she summoned you into court for restraining orders against you?
I think like 3 different times, 2 or 3 different times.
And were any of those granted?
No, they were not.
And she also called your employer and said,
She apologized for everything that she had done, admitted it was all a lie, tried to take me to court again, and then the judge dismissed it because he dismissed it
okay,
prior to that a couple of weeks.
all right, listen to what I'm asking. And she also called your employer and tried to get you fired.
Yes, she has.
Okay, do you remember what she said to the employer?
She said that I was a pedophile and I was stalking her kids at the bus stop, which is at the corner where I live. And I drive my son to school every single day. So when I leave for school, her kids are catching the bus at my corner.
Is there any truth to any of those allegations?
No truth at all whatsoever. I never even made eye contact with kids.
And those allegations were the basis of one of the protection orders that was denied for her.
Correct.
All right. Is there anything else you want to add here?
I'm just really tired of her harassing me. I mean, it's just nonstop. She comes and apologizes. She's even called my employer again after all this recently and accused my secretary of having a speech impediment and her being crazy and she just won't stop harassing. She's got on My Neighbor on Facebook, all kinds of different stuff. She's actually even put signs on my street signs in front of my house, saying I'm a.
As someone who's been baselessly called this, and much worse, that allegations like these can ruin a person's life. What I don't understand is that if she felt like these allegations were absolutely true, she should have gone to the police, which she didn't.
Is there, does her behavior cause you to fear for your safety?
Extremely, it does. She's actually drove through my yard twice. The cops came, she yelled at them, slammed the door in their face. Nothing happened with that. I had to get rid of my son's dog because I'm afraid that she's going to hit him. I don't let my son play in the front yard anymore because I'm afraid that she's going to try through my yard again and kill my son. My son has been losing sleep from it because he knows what's going on. He asked me what happened to our car and, you know, I can't lie to him. And he's just really distraught and having a hard time with it. And it's affected my work. I've missed multiple days of work and she's trying to run me out of the town that I've worked in for 25 years, being a tax-paying citizen. And it's just not fair that she thinks that she could exploit the court system to try to get me away. And
All right.
it just don't seem fair.
All right, thank you. I think that should be sufficient, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Finley. Ms. Bowman, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to ask for an extension. My tribe has a free clinic tomorrow at our DuPont facility, the Cowlitz Indian Tribe, with Northwest Justice Project. And I would like to speak with an attorney. In addition, I'm also waiting for police reports and camera footage because I believe that the majority of what was just said is wrongful and false.
Okay, so
So I'm gonna be speaking with an attorney tomorrow. At 10 o'clock, I have an appointment in DuPont. And I also have police reports and camera footage that I'm waiting for.
camera footage of what?
From the city of Olympia, from the top of the light post, from when he was following me around, videotaping me multiple days in a row. There's a lot more to this story. And I've tried to file 3 protection orders against him, but the protection order I tried to file when he got the attorney, I am an educator. I'm very well known in my community. I work in Native education, and I could not miss my student groups. I kept missing groups because he had not been served. And then when the judge at family court, he said that the reason I didn't accept he offered me an attorney. I did not accept it. That was my bad. I screwed up. I should have accepted the attorney. I wanted things to be over with because I chair an STI committee for my tribe. I just got my master's in elementary education. I do all kinds of things. I'm too busy to harass this man. I need an attorney because I didn't come to court last time because I couldn't. I kept showing up. He wasn't showing up. The people that were facilitating my middle school groups were getting very frustrated with me. I was getting emails from my students, Miss Bowman, where are you? And so I chose to go to my students instead of this. And this is all wrongful. There's so many falsehoods, so many. My children I have a statement from my daughter. My children have had mental issues because he has said that he wants to have relations with my daughter multiple times. He's referenced it. Even after I took him to court last time for it, he did it again. I never keyed his car or whatever he said I did. I never drove through his yard. I never did any of that. These are all false accusations, and I would like legal representation.
Okay, so Mr. Petey told me that you told him that you keyed his car and that you paid for the damage.
Yeah, that never happened. That never happened. He has been making things up since I did call his work back in February to warn them of what he had said and done to my daughter multiple times. And then after that, that's when everything got ugly. That's when he accused me of driving through his yard and called the police on me. That is when all this ugly stuff started happening.
It's honestly starting to sound like you just don't like this guy, so you're doing everything in your power to ruin his life and get him off your block. And it blows my mind that when it came time to go before a judge and make your case, you chose to go to work instead.
Okay, so you're denying all of that. You're
All of
saying,
it. Yes, absolutely.
did you pay him for anything?
I paid him for nothing.
So didn't give him a check, you didn't give him cash, you didn't Venmo him anything. You've not given him any money at all.
No.
And how about the incident that he describes when he's at a park and you're seen walking by and he says he has a witness who'll testify that you were yelling at him?
I can tell you exactly what happened that day, sir. I am an avid walker. I have an app right here on my phone that says I've been walking around that park multiple times every day for years. I also have neighbors that are willing to give statements. I mean, you can ask anyone. That's how Mr. Petey and I met, was because I'm a walker and I used to walk by his house. And I was walking around the park like I do every day. And I have never, ever seen him there. Ever. He has a child, and I've never seen him at that park. And I thought it was weird because we live a block away. What kind of parent doesn't take their kid to the park? So I'm walking around. I walk around 3 times, not two, 3 times. And the third time I was like, wait a minute. He was following me around this park, videotaping me multiple days in a row. And now he's showing up in a place that I frequent that he's never ever at. So I walked back and I took pictures, and I have them, and I have pictures of his truck at the car because that was something that was against me, not me against him. And I walked back and I started taking pictures just from far away. And then he was ducking, like trying to hide from the pictures. And so I went over there and I said, how does it feel? How does it feel to have somebody taking pictures of you? And then I did not speak to anyone. I went up to him. I said, what, you've followed me around multiple days in a row, videotaping me, and now you're showing up at a place that I frequent that I have never ever seen you before. And I said, you're getting served. I will see you in court. And then I went the very next day, got a protection order. I showed up to court twice. He never showed up. And that's when my middle school groups and my students and everybody was harassing me because I was missing work. And so I chose that day, I made the mistake to not go to court and go to my students instead of going to court, which was a mistake on my part. But this man has been harassing me. Like this, everything that he's saying, he is actually doing. There's a lot of projection. There's a lot of gaslighting. I don't every time I've talked to this man, I get a different answer for the same question. This man also, in addition to everything else, he's got 7 acres in Shelton with a house. He lives in a teeny tiny mold infested house surrounded by single moms that he has harassed. He's harassed so many all around, and he's got 7 acres and a house in Shelton. At his age, I'm sorry, but my dream would be to have acreage and build and he's got a kid. Like, why is he choosing not to live on his 7 acres that he's had his whole life with a house in Shelton, and said he's living in this teeny tiny little mold infested house?
He'll explain that in a second, and he does have good reasoning for making this decision. But regardless of his reasoning, it's not your neighborhood, nor do you have any say in whether he chooses to live in a house that he already owns or a house that's located on your street.
And Mr. Petey, how did Ms. Bowman pay you for the damage to your car?
She came to my house to apologize because she thought and she came to my front door. I opened the door. I realized it was her. And I said, you should probably just leave. That's all I said to her. She turned around and walked away. Well, I was already doing dump runs that day. So I walked around into my house and through the house to the garage. I opened up the garage door and bam, there she was. She walked up to my garage door and I said, Laura, I thought I asked you politely to just leave. I don't want to see you ever again. Please leave me alone. And she said, I just want to make it right. Well, I used to always drive my work truck to work, and I stopped doing it because of her harassment and the way she was harassing and badgering my company through the internet. So I didn't want her to think that I was working there anymore. So she thought that I got fired. And she's like, I just want you to get your job back. And I was like, well, you just called Carrie 3 days ago and apologized. And Carrie played it off like she had to talk to the employer to try to get my job back. She didn't want to engage with her because she knows that she's crazy. So I said, well, what do you want? And she's like, oh, I just want you to forgive me. And I was like, Laura, when you keyed my car in November of last year, I forgave you because I don't want to carry you in my backpack. I don't hold resentment. I don't hold grudges. I just want it to die. I just want it to go away. And she's like, well, I just want you to get your job back. And I was like, well, what do you really want? And she's like, I just want you to forgive me. And I was like, well, if you want me to forgive me, tell me that everything that you've done has been a lie. And she's like, okay, I admit that I made up all this stuff and it's all a lie. And I was like, if you really want me to forgive you, you admit to me that you keyed my car. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, I did not key your car. And I said, Laura, you're a liar. You just admitted to be a liar. And I know you keyed my car because nobody else would do that. All the neighbors love me. And she's like, I did not key your car. I used a claw hammer. And the reason why I did that is because I planned on smashing all the windows out and busted in all the fenders. And I said, oh my goodness, why would you even do that? I didn't do anything to you. And then so she says, well, I just want to make it right. And I was like, well, it's $3,700 for a paint job, but it's $500 for the deductible. And she said, oh, well, can I pay for the deductible? And I said, no, just please go away and let's just never ever talk again. She's like, I just need to make it right with you. And I said, okay, I will let you pay for the deductible and I will forgive you 100%. And you just need to stay away from me for at least 3 to 5 years. She said, okay, I'll bring the money back to your house. I said, no, I don't want you coming to my house ever again. I will meet you at your bank in 15 minutes. So we went to her bank. I got the money from her in front of multiple cameras at the bank. There's stoplight cameras, there's bank cameras, there's all kinds. And then he gave me the money. I went over to my bank and I deposited it, and then I went about our way. And then I was hoping that it'd all go away. Well, then the next thing you know, I get another Superior Court case that the judge denied her for. And I was like, what is she doing? She's trying, basically what she's doing is she knows I have a lawyer. She knows that it's costing me money. I'm a single income that has a full-time parent. She knows that I can't afford a lawyer, and what she's trying to do is make me go broke and push me out of the neighborhood. Wouldn't have done nothing wrong, but be nice to her. I haven't drove past her house in over 7 months. Since November, not one time have I drove past her house. And that's a shortcut for me to get home. I tack on a minute and a half of every single day just to get home to avoid her. And she goes out of her way to try to make contact with me. When I drive away from my house to go to the school, I have to drive by that park. I drive by that park at least 4 to 8 times a day coming back and forth from work. I completely avoid her area just to give her respect, and she cannot return that favor. And she's just relentless on trying to terrorize my life. And she thinks that I'm just going to run away and move back to my property when I'm not. That's not, I don't have to do that. I live in Olympia because it has a better school for my son, and he's already been going to school there for 2 years. And I don't want him to start. And this will be if I leave now, this will be the third school he's had to adapt to. And I don't want him to have to do that because he's doing really good in school now. So I'm just really
All right.
tired of the harassment. She's
So tell me what happened at the park. Ms. Bowman says that she was videotaping you and came up and spoke with you directly. You tell me what you think happened.
Your Honor, could I interject for just a minute? This was the subject of a previous restraining order brought by Ms. Bowman. And there are declarations from, I think, 2 or maybe 3 witnesses on Mr. Petey's behalf in there. If the court looks at those, I think you'll see that they're consistent with what he's going to say here, and I'll let him go ahead and answer your question now. Ms. Bowman didn't have any witnesses.
It's gonna hurt your case when the man you're alleging did all these horrible things has witnesses to back his defense, while you have 0 witnesses who'll back your delusions.
So she walked around, that I noticed, as I realized, she walked around the whole park, which is the city block, twice. On the second trip that I noticed she was walking around is when she started screaming at me from the road. Well, I was at the table, as a picnic table, while my nieces were eating dinner, and my son was sitting there playing on the phone. So I didn't even have the phone in my hand. And as she's yelling at me, I told my cousin to don't even look at her. She wants us to engage. Just don't even pay attention because she won't stop. And then one of the fathers that I see every day at school was walking right up behind her and saw it and heard the whole thing. And he gave me a declaration along with my cousin that I was with, them both stating of exactly what happened. And I actually didn't even talk to her that day because I knew that there was stuff going on, and I knew that if anything I said to her, she's going to try to use against me. So I didn't even say a word to her, and because there's so many people, she walked away, but she got halfway around the park, still screaming and yelling at us. And that's how people were noticing it.
And what she's screaming and yelling.
I couldn't really hear her, but she was screaming at my truck, and I was trying to ignore her, so I couldn't really hear her because the kids were laughing and screaming at the park. So but she was taking pictures of us, videotaping us, for no reason. We didn't even acknowledge her at all.
Your Honor, may I speak about the day that I went over to his house?
Just tell me, did you go to the bank with Mr. Petey?
No, I didn't go with him. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. You and Mr. Petey meet at a bank.
No. No,
So
no.
you
He,
were at a bank, didn't hand him $5.
no.
And so he's making this up?
Yes, what happened? I did go over there to because I thought he was moving. And when I went over there, I knocked on his door and I brought this can of peach peace tea because he still told me a long time ago that he liked peach tea. So I knock on the door, he opens and he says, "You need to leave." So I go, "Okay." And I set the peach tea down and I started walking home. He comes around the corner, he opens his garage door and looks at me. So I start walking toward him and he goes, "That's not an invitation." I said, "Okay, well, why would you, I'm walking around the corner to go home and you just opened your garage door."
Yeah, I'm calling bullshit on all of this. First, who brings peach peace tea to someone they've been accusing of such heinous crimes? And second, if after asking you to leave his property, he still has time to leave his front door and open his garage to find you still on the property, then you aren't leaving fast enough.
So then he starts yelling at me about my ex-husband. He's like, "Why don't you go blah, 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 like you did your ex-husband?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he said something about something about my ex-husband from a long time ago, which was a domestic violence thing that because I have a scar from it. Anyway, so we start talking and I said, "I just want to come over because this is super ugly." I said, I don't like animosity between my neighbors. I just want to just be cordial. Like we don't have to be friends, nothing. And I was there for 4 hours, Your Honor. He would not let me leave. And not like he was holding me for ransom, but he kept talking to me and talking. And he's like, "Wait, one more thing and then I'll let you go. One more thing and then I'll let you go. But wait, one more thing and then I'll let you go." And he kept telling me, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say this. He even told me that he's only slept with one person in the last 7 years. That's how much he was talking the whole time. I'm just saying that he's telling me all these things. And he just, for 4 hours, he was talking to me. And I kept saying, "Well, I got to go. And he's like, "But wait, one more thing, and then I'll let you go." Like he was absolutely did not want me to leave his premises, but I did. And I went home.
All right, thank you.
And there were neighbors, by the way, there were neighbors all over the place coming and going. It was a Sunday morning and there's witnesses. There's tons of witnesses. We were in the yard the whole time.
How close do the two of you live together?
2 houses
Ms.
down.
Bowman?
There is a little hill in between, so we cannot see each other's homes.
And Mr. Petey, if I asked you for a bank statement showing that you deposited $500 on the day you met Ms. Bowman at the bank, would it show that?
Yes, sir.
We can show it to you right
I
now.
can show it to you right now. I'm on my mobile banking trying to find it. It's right here.
And what day is that?
That would have been April 14th.
And what bank?
I'm at Heritage and her bank is Wells Fargo.
So were you at Wells Fargo or you took the money
I
over
met
to
her at
Heritage?
Wells Fargo and I'm sorry, go ahead.
So which bank did you meet Ms. Bowman at?
At Wells Fargo.
And she handed you money there?
Correct.
And then you went over to your bank?
Exactly.
And how do you know it was Ms. Bowman who drove through your yard?
Because actually it was in my kitchen window and I looked over and seen her. She was that close. She did it twice. She drove through one way and went outside and tried to see if I could talk to one of the neighbors. They said they heard a horn honking, but she thought that was my alarm on my car being set. And then I went back on the house to try to calm down, and then she drove back through the other way. And then I have pictures of the marks, but I couldn't take a picture through the the kitchen window fast enough to actually see her plate. It was all blurry. Because I had an older phone.
All right, thank you.
And then when the cops came, they went up and talked to her. She slammed the door in their face, and he came back down to talk to me. And as we were talking, she drove by again, speeding down Union Street in front of the cop. But obviously he wasn't in with his radar, so he couldn't stop her for that. Later on that night, she came down again, walking down the hill, yelling at me, calling me a cop, calling little, you couldn't even imagine what she was saying. But she was calling me a cop, calling little word that I prefer not to say. And so I called the cops again, and that's a part of their notes. They didn't make a report. They just took notes.
Now, we can't see all of these reports on screen, but the attorney for the plaintiff has provided them to the judge, and he's prepared to make his ruling.
All right. First of all, I'm going to deny the request for continuance in this case. It's been hard enough for the court. We've set so many hearings where there's just one party present. Having both parties present today, we're going to conduct the hearing. This matter has been before the court numerous times, both parties filing petitions. And it's clear to me looking back through the cases, which is what I was doing during the moments of silence, is that the court's approach of saying it's hard to discern between the two of you who's the one that's aggravating the situation more than the other. And that's why the court just keeps denying orders on a regular basis. And that clearly hasn't worked because we're back here again. In this case, I'm going to find that the preponderance of the weight goes to me believing Mr. Petey's side of the version, or of the version of events. And so I will grant the request for protection order. Ms. Bowman, you're to have absolutely no contact with Mr. Petey at all for the next year. No contact with his son. You're not to go within 100 feet of him, his home, his vehicle, or his son. And that changed, that's similar to the temporary order that is in effect, because 1,000 feet within the neighborhood would be very problematic. So I believe 100 feet is a functional distance to assert. Mr. Petey, this order will be in effect for 1 year from today's date. If you want it renewed, you'll have to come back to court and ask to have it renewed. A copy of the order is available in the court file for either one of you if you want to access that. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Alright, so that's the end of this fiasco and the end of the video. After 3 failed attempts to get a PPO against the plaintiff, the Karen ended up getting a successful PPO against her. Karma wins again. So if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike. But don't forget to leave a comment below and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss any of my content.